But from 2009 to 2018, I was locked up like 8 years, 7 months. I was already out on bond, so that's what made, and there'd be a lot of shit going on. That's what made the DAs more so be like, shit, if we can't beat them over here, we sending this shit to the feds, you know what I'm saying? So like, I was already out on bond for gun and drug charges, and then while out on bond for gun and drug charges, I caught more gun and drug charges, you know what I'm saying? And that's what actually set me down. The gun charges will actually set me down because the feds picked up the gun charge, and then that sent me to the feds.
Tell us who you are and where you from.
Ghoo Tha Inspiration. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. The east side of Savannah, Georgia. It's village in this motherfucker, man. One of the last of the real ones left, bro.
Okay. Around what age did you get in the streets?
I think, for real, it was probably more, being honest, like the age of 17, excuse me. Because I mean, I grew up in the project, so I was always around it. And I started getting in trouble at a young age, but actually in the streets and having some kind of understanding of it, I probably was about 17, bro.
Okay. What pushed you to get in the streets?
Just really being a product of my environment, man. Like I said, I grew up in the project, so I've been around it all my life, and I just kind of, instead of going this way, so to say, I went this way with the route that most of my peers went. You know what I'm saying? So you know.
What's some of the things that you experienced, you know, growing up in the projects that's different than somebody growing up in like the suburbs?
Man, excuse me. Shit, in the projects, man. For as it relates just to being different from the suburbs, man, I saw my first body when I was 14 years old. That's something you probably ain't gonna see in the suburbs, a dead body from somebody being shot, just laid out for hours. You know what I'm saying? The whole neighborhood surrounding that kind of thing. So that in itself is something that I'm sure that a person in the suburbs, you know, probably wouldn't see as much, you know?
That's right. So at some point, you know, while being in the streets, you discovered a love for the music. Can you talk about what that was like?
That was dope. I always wrote when I was younger. I always just liked to write. And I used to try to write stories. And then I remember like when I was 9, like in the 4th grade, I kind of started writing music. But then getting older with the whole, Tupac was a major influence as it related to music. And then meeting Flage and getting the opportunity to record with him is what really sparked it. So that whole thing of coming into really getting into music was dope, and recording and getting feedback from the streets and people I know like, hey, like, well, that shit kind of sound good. That really kind of, that kept me going. But it was dope though, to answer your question. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, facts. You mentioned Flage. Can you talk a little bit about how you ended up linking up with him?
Yeah, and I want to say too, may the Most High preserve Flage's soul as he see fit. R.I.P. basically, you know what I'm saying? I met Flage when I was probably about, I want to say anywhere from the age of 17 to 19, if I ain't mistaken, like really got to know him. He had moved to the projects. His mother had moved to the projects, and he heard I could rap, knew I could rap. He put me on a song on his first solo album, I Represent. It was called Bringing Pain. A lot of people don't know that. He put me on that song, and the feedback from that is what kept me going too with the music. But yeah, meeting Flage was dope though, man. Flage, his influence still encourages me now, because from us linking, him putting me on that song, then we did other songs together too. But from that whole process and being around him and kind of seeing it firsthand in the city, like musically, that was a major influence too, you know what I'm saying? Major motivation Major inspiration. Meeting bro was cool though, and we had somewhat of a personal relationship too. So that's what that was like, you know.
Okay. How'd your outlook on the music in the streets change when he died? You know?
I never lost any passion for the music. It made me realize, and you asked something about the streets in that same question. It made me realize it was, you know, how much more dangerous the streets are. You know what I'm saying? I was locked up myself at the time, which I'm sure was a blessing for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a lot of shit going on as it relate to street wars and war with niggas from my hood. You know what I'm saying? So I could have easily been there. I could have easily been just caught up in that whole whirlwind. But it made me drive. It made my drive for the music stronger. I couldn't wait to get out because I had like a 2-year sentence, 5-2 or something. That I got locked up a month before he got killed on April 1st, April Fool's Day. And then while I was down a month later, he got killed. But so my passion for the music grew stronger. Couldn't wait to get out, put it down, represent. But my outlook on the streets was just maybe a whole lot more shallow. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot more paranoid, a whole lot more well alert. Like, you know, because damn, that could happen to Flage. You know, somebody who was, you know, trying to do his thing. The crazy shit is though, bro, man, when I got out, I went right back to that same studio, man, and was putting it down. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So you said, you know, you got locked up, and then a month later he died. Can you talk about, you know, what charge you caught to get sent to prison, and can you walk us through the day that you caught that charge?
Okay. Well, I think you might be referring to my most recent stint. Okay, because back then that was 2003. But from 2009 to 2018, I was locked up like 8 years, 7 months. I was already out on bond, so that's what made, and there'd be a lot of shit going on. That's what made the DAs more so be like, shit, if we can't beat them over here, we sending this shit to the feds. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was already out on bond for gun and drug charges, and then while out on bond for gun and drug charges, I caught more gun and drug charges. You know what I'm saying? And that's what actually set me down. The gun charges will actually set me down because the feds picked up the gun charge, and then that sent me to the feds. You know what I mean?
Okay. I know that wasn't your first time being locked up, but like, what was going through your head when the judge gave you that time, when they read it out to you?
Man, it was so much going on in my life then. I wasn't surprised because I was actually glad in a sense because I wasn't glad to be locked up and I wasn't glad to get the time. I'm explaining what I'm saying. Okay, for a gun charge, federally, it carries from 0 to 10. But then I had a court-appointed lawyer coming to tell me, you know, on account of my past, I could be careered out. You know what I'm saying? I could be treated like a armed career criminal, meaning that now instead of it being 0 to 10, I can't get no more than 10. I can also get 15 to life. You see what I'm saying? So when he told me that shit had my head spinning. But when I found out better, I knew that, okay, I couldn't get no more than 10 years. I was already pretty much expecting it. So what was going through my head was just like, I already knew that I went to trial, I lost trial. So, you know, in short, to answer your question, bro, what was going through my head, my shit was just spinning, man. I just had got 10 motherfucking years. But I was glad, but the point I was trying to make is that I was glad to be getting 10 and couldn't get no more versus 15 and up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was cool. I was already accepting of it and I was already expecting it. You know what I'm saying?
Can you talk about that first night in prison? Like what was really going through your head that first night?
Well, now, the first night that I actually got locked up for that charge, bro, I can't remember because it's been about 14 years ago now, but I do know that it was a rough day because I had ran from the police, bro. I had jumped gates. I had got scratched up and some more shit. So you know that's a bad day to go to jail. You done ran, you damn near injured, and still fucking had to go to the jail. You know what I'm saying? I think you know what though, I could answer that better though too, because my first day was already plotting like, how the fuck can I get out? How the fuck am I gonna wag these charges? You know what I'm saying? Could I get this person to take this, take that, shit like that? You know what I'm saying? So that's what was going through my head, bro.
Okay. What was your first night in the feds like?
Now my first night in the feds, that was actually at a federal camp. That was cool. I couldn't wait to get there because I had done been here, there. I couldn't wait to get to where I was going. So that was cool, man, because dudes gonna embrace you by where you from and sometimes even who you are if you know anybody there. But you know that the federal system is broader, so it's much different from the state. You might go to the state and you know some people, but the feds, you got motherfuckers from everywhere. But my first night was cool though, because I was embraced. I knew some people there when I got there that was from the city, and so everything was smooth. I like I said, I couldn't wait to get there so I could just know that this where the fuck I'm finna be at for a minute, and let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What's the wildest thing you've seen? You know, on either bid, any bid that you did?
Shit, well, I seen a lot of wild shit. One of the first things I seen motherfuckers be on that K2 shit, dog, and fucking just wig the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? That might have been one of the wildest things that I could really remember. Just motherfuckers being on that K2 and just damn near losing their mind. I know it's some other shit I just can't think of it right now. You know what I'm saying? But I seen some wild shit, man. I think that might have been the first time though. I seen some wild shit, man. I seen men look just like fucking women. You know what I'm saying? On some other shit. Men with fucking titties and ass, dog. You feel me? That's wild as a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know, I seen that dumb shit. Yeah, and then of course the you know what you can expect, all kind of little fights and shit. But I didn't see nothing that was too horrifying, like a motherfucker losing no limb or nothing. But yeah, that shit I just said and motherfuckers being on K2 is some of the wildest shit I can remember, man. Like, cause a motherfucker get on that K2 and be fighting the wall or fighting himself or doing some shit on the ground, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So how did being in prison mess with your mental? Then and how does it affect you to this day, if it affects you to this day? Well,
of course, you know, I mean, being in prison, you're away from a lot of different freedoms, of course. So that's effective. But looking back at it, like I can honestly say, you know, I am still affected by it in good and bad ways, because I missed out on a lot. I missed out on important, very, very, you know, vital moments and times in my kids' life. I got 2 kids. So when I left, my daughter was 9, my son was 8. And shit, I came back home, my daughter was like 17 finna have a baby, and my son was like 15, going on 16. So that in itself has been an effect, but it was a blessing too, because I'm still here, you know what I'm saying? And God knows best what my life would have been like had I not went to prison. I would have probably been dead or deeper in prison, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm still affected by it in good and bad ways. I hope that makes sense. I hope that answered the question, you know what I'm saying?
No, you're good. What was that feeling like when you finally got a release date? You know what I'm saying? When you finally was getting close to the end of your stretch, you had been through, you know, whatever you was going through in there, seeing different things, and you finally get a release date. What was that feeling like?
That was great. I'm gonna try to go though in depth without going so far in depth though. But what I wanted to see, I felt good about it. You know what I'm saying? I remember putting on the clothes that my cousin had sent me in the shoes. Shout out to my cousin Mint, man. Appreciate you. I remember putting the stuff on. I was in Mississippi, and my thing was though, and this was a thought throughout my whole bid. I was hoping I make it out, like make it out healthy and sane, but also, you know, I didn't want to make it out the gate and the folks like come here with new charges. You know what I'm saying? So overall it was good. It was great, but I also had a premonition, so to say, that when I went out the gate, I wanted to be able to be out the gate versus going out the gate meeting motherfuckers after all this time. Like, come here. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that was for me, bro.
Okay. So I take it that didn't happen though.
That didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, that didn't happen, bro.
That's right. So once you finally got released, like how long did it take you to kind of readjust to the new times, to the new ways of the world, the new version of the streets?
Man, I'm gonna tell you some real shit, bro. I done been home probably about, let me see, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Excuse me, I'm coming up on 5 years and I'm still adjusting to certain things, but I was able to adjust pretty fast, man. And you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to the people who helped me to adjust, and y'all know who y'all are, you know what I'm saying? If they get a chance to see this, I hope they do. But I was able to answer your question, bro. I was able to adjust to certain things pretty quicker than I was, and then I have to other things. Like I said, I'm still adjusting, you know. But I did pretty good though. You know what I'm saying? I was able to catch on, and I had help too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, one of my friend girls was like, I just don't want you to be left behind. So she did all she could to help me and assist me with getting my feet on some solid ground and adjusting to, you know, what probably would have been a little bit more difficult without, you know what I'm saying, people like her.
That's right. If you could change, excuse me, if you could do it all over again, would you change anything?
Of course, I would change a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I probably would have, and I'm grateful. I want to say that all praise due to the Most High, that I'm still here. I am who I am. Whatever those things, of course, that I can't change is what made me. But I probably would have went a whole different route. I wouldn't even try to be on no street shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's been more losses to me, and more hurt and pain and heartache than wins and joy and happiness fucking around in the streets, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would change. I would probably change the route I took, because it wasn't like it was just so bad for me. You know, it was rough, but looking back at it, I had enough sense, and even people, you know, people who was in place who tried to show us a better route. You know what I mean? But you know, we got to learn on our own. So that would be the thing that I would change, bro. You know, because shit, I would like to hope and think that would have stopped me from going through a lot of different shit. I would change that. I probably wouldn't even been in the streets, been some smart motherfucker somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You know.
What message you got for like the younger generation that's coming up in the streets? You know, for the ones who haven't been in prison, but you know they throwing rocks at it.
Just to, man, really look in the mirror, so to say. And I mean that literally and figuratively, and really see who you are and see who they are and see what is it really that they want to do. You know what I mean? Be leaders of their own, whatever they may have going on, versus followers. You know what I'm saying? And I would tell them to kind of study a lot of people who's tried the same thing before them and see what the end result was. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's so much more I would say, but I'd be stuck here damn near preaching at the camera. But it would be things like that, man. Like, you know, don't trick yourself, man. In short, I would tell them, man, the streets don't love you all. You know what I'm saying? Most of the dudes that you be around may not love you as much as you love them. It ain't no love out here, man. At the end of the day, going to prison, you're gonna do that time by yourself. You're gonna be reaching out to your people who probably ain't already got nothing, being a burden or die early. It's all just burden type stuff. So I would really tell them to, in short, bro, I would tell them man, vacate, man, take a different route. You know what I'm saying? As best I could, I would tell them that. Take a different route. You know? Cause the way this roll in, it ain't good. Heartache, pain, stress, fucking dead or in jail, man. You know what I mean? Or later on down the line, nigga may end up a bum or some more shit, man, because of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Ghoo Tha Inspiration, man. We appreciate you coming through, chopping it up, telling us a little bit of your story. What can we expect from you, in the near future?
Appreciate y'all for having me, man. I'm honored. Much respect and love. In the near future, man, just of course more music. That's my passion. More videos and just more growth. You know what I'm saying? As a whole, from me and my brand and my camp. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
That's right. All right, we're gonna wrap up. Appreciate you having me.
Peace.